All right, welcome everyone. Thanks for joining us on this Sunday morning, Sunday evening in India. Welcome to Indian Women Professionals. For those who are new here, Indian Women Professionals is a group meant for Indian women helping other Indian women with career choices, entrepreneurship, mentorship, and leadership. We aim to influence people to think critically about their career and reaching their fullest potential. Okay. So as they say, your network is your net worth, and you are the sum of the five people you spend the most time with. You absorb the subtle behaviors and under the surface mindsets of the people you spend the time with the most. Do you like the behaviors of those who are around you? Do you admire them? And are they helping you to grow into what you want to be? So if you're not, maybe they're not the ones to be spending time with. So who you spend time with matters. It shapes your opinions, it shapes your ambitions, and inevitably it shapes your future. So with that introduction, let me go ahead. This is our wonderful panel. We have Jyoti, Mistry, and Nargis Motorwala. And these are both experts in their fields. And thank you, ladies, for coming in for this, taking the time on a Sunday morning to talk about Indian women and financial empowerment. This is a very, very important topic, and I hope you will get a lot out of this this 1.5 hour session. So I'll introduce myself really quickly. I'm Priya Menon. I worked in technology for over 20 years, both in Silicon Valley and in Austin, in big corporates as well as in startups. And then after that, I found a life outside of tech in the world of land sales. Besides buying and selling land across the US, I also deal in various financial instruments like real estate based hard money loans, and which is meant to provide a means of passive income generation, right? So you can see we all have a little bit of a financial background here, most of us, right? Jyoti Mistry is an enigma to herself. She is a financial professional, and she is a true story of going from rags to riches. There was a time when she was living paycheck to paycheck, and she has gone through tremendous hurdles in her life, and she has come here to tell us her story, her amazing story. Jyoti, give us a 2-minute intro of what your life has been so far.
First of all, thank you, Priya, and I want to congratulate you for organizing this event. For empowering Indian women into financial literacy. And I can definitely connect with this mission because I'm very emotionally inclined in this mission. And so thank you once again for having me here. And about myself, well, it has an interesting twist in my life journey, like you said. So my name is Jyoti Mistry, and I come from a very small town in India. I came to US 24 years back to work as a nanny in Virginia. And the family who had hired me had also paid for my flight ticket from India. So I came from with a $0. It was like a blind date with my life. And then most unlike you guys, I was not career oriented, educated. I didn't even know what a computer was at the time. But I educated myself in the public library, managed to get my green card while still working as a nanny. And after a few other challenges, I ended up into the hospitality industry. And I was very lucky enough to work with very nice people who mentored and coached me to manage a hotel since I had no managerial experience. And I was working with them for 15 plus years, and they allowed me to grow with them. I loved what I did and I enjoyed my lifestyle. I had a decent paycheck over there. Only thing was that I was working 24/7, being on call. But I enjoyed taking my paid vacation every year, and I was taking pride in my lifestyle. But when I needed to take another vacation or something else, that's when I realized that I was actually coming to a country of opportunity, America. I was restricting myself and living to the size of my paycheck. So that's when I realized that if I wanted to do something, I was time broke and money broke at the time. So if I continued what I was doing in next 5 years, I would still be having the same lifestyle. So that actually bothered me, right? But I did not know anything else for there. And then at one point, my nephew had called me when I was going through my cancer treatment. And then he asked me if I had protected myself. I had no idea what he was talking about. So when he educated me that I could use my own money in life situation like these and not just leave it for the loved ones, that actually came as a shocking reality check for me. And I realized that, hey, there are so many Jyotis out there, maybe who are as ignorant as me, right? And that's when I got curious and I asked him more about it. And he offered me this opportunity into the financial domain, which I diversified along with my hotel industry. And when I saw and learned so many other powerful concepts over there, which I realized that even in my hotel industry, being so many years, none of my colleague or family or friends ever educated me on the concepts that I learned there. Right? That's when I figured out that, hey, this is something definitely valuable that every family should know about it. And while I was doing it along with my hotel, I did realize that I was making a difference in people's life. So that's when my transition happened from the hotel to being a financial professional and making a difference in every family's life. And today I help every families all over United States. And the reason that I have made this my personal mission to educate every woman into financial literacy, because I found that 8 out of 10 women whom I was talking to, women were not being a part of the financial conversation. And that actually bugged me and saddened me. So this is my reality because I was a victim of the same situation and I was not taught about finances. So this is my journey from a nanny to being a financial professional.
That's an amazing journey. And if you talk to Jyoti more, guys, you'll see, what a truly amazing person she is, and how much she has really, grown and learned. And I think we all have something to learn from her. So I'll also introduce Nargis. So Nargis and I had, our paths overlapped back when I was at eBay, and she was a software engineer, and I was a QA. I was in QA, and we just spent a few years where we knew each other, and fast forward to today, and Nargis is now a stock market analyst with her own following on Twitter, or X, I should say. So Nargis, give us your 2-minute intro.
Hi everyone, how are you? And thanks Priya for giving this platform. Just like Jyoti said, this is also pretty personal to me because we, especially in the United States, we mostly are immigrants, right? Spanning few years. So my journey also started that way. My father had passed away when I was still in school, like in high school. And my mom was a rock. I personally feel that she was now I realize that she was born at the wrong time. If she was born in today's time, she would do wonders. So those kind of skills she has inculcated in us, both the daughters, that surviving is one thing, but using your potential is something other. Today when I retrospect, I realize, okay, what kind of power she had given us. So then after that, I became a computer science engineer. It was pretty new in the late 90s. And then, I got an opportunity to travel to Europe. My first job was in Romania, completely opposite to what people were used to. And then something, the path led me here to United States, and I was here working. And then 9/11 happened. So those 10 years were really struggling, keeping your visa alive, keeping your job alive, and all that stuff. And in that process, living in Bay Area, you just lived, right? Doing your job, trying to keep your job, working, two people working, trying to buy a home and live, trying to live. At some point, I was very uncomfortable in my own skin because I felt something is missing. At some point, the realization came that this is not me. This is not my personality. I was supposed to conquer the world, and I'm just trying to struggle to keep the job because the economy is not doing well and all these things are going on. And I had no clue about stock market till 2009 or 10 or something. And one guy in my company, he used to do a lot of stocks, and I got introduced to that. And I first bought a few stocks just knowing of, hearing about people. So I opened an account, and then so somebody asked me, Nargis, why did you buy these four stocks? And I was like, I just liked them. I had no explanation why I bought it. But that person said, those four stocks which you have chosen are very good, and they are going to give you very good returns. And then my mind started working. What did I see? I knew I saw something, subconscious pattern I saw, but I couldn't put a name to it, what I was looking at it. So then I started getting into it, trying to find out. I heard the technical analysis and I started doing that. And it so happened in that 2014, my son was born, my second son was born, and I had a difficult pregnancy. And maybe I was just tired of, just surviving, being a working professional. Those thoughts were coming in, okay, need to do something. So I didn't go back after my job, after my, what do you call that? Leave, maternity leave. And then I started researching more and more on this. And today I am here where I started doing time analysis, price and time analysis, and I can predict the turns before they happen. So based on time, I can say, the market is going to turn, what stocks are going to fire. And, if you have even heard of things like Nvidia, oh my God, Nvidia is running crazy. This, it happened past few months. All those things happened. If you knew that, then people were reacting, but we were acting. So that's the difference. So that kind of work I do. And if you would listen to the first interview, which happened in 2018, someone saw me on Twitter, and I was the only one who said, the market is going to crash, and everyone was very bullish. And it happened the way I had said it, and that's how they spotted me and they took my interview. And if you listen to that interview towards the end, I mentioned this, that even though a woman is very educated, have fancy degrees, working in corporations, having, executive jobs even, but one thing which they don't do is, finance. My father knows it, my husband knows it, he's responsible for it. But then I'm like, why don't you know what it is? So that's how my mission was also to, bring in women and, at least make them aware of what is all there. Finance is not just a special subject, it's an everyday tool in your home. It's the tool in your home, actually. So yes, I do share that love of, empowering people, especially women, especially Indian women, or Desi women, I should say, and, get along the journey of knowing thyself.
Yes, knowing thyself. And we shall dive into that very shortly. So, so thanks for the intro, ladies. What I want to, as we go through this conversation, I know that there will be many questions that come up, and I would love to, I hope you guys can stay on until the end of the meeting so we can keep the questions for the end of the meeting, because we are going to cover a little bit of material here. And so the first thing I want to ask is basically, how do we identify some of the most obvious problems we see with our recognition of financial issues in Indian society? So we as women and we as Desi families, right? What are some of the common obvious problems we see within us? So some of the patterns that we need to recognize, right? Because we don't always recognize the problems within us. We think we have degrees, we think we know a lot of stuff, but we don't necessarily always recognize the flaws within ourselves. So what I'd love to find out first is, let's address the most obvious problems we see so we can learn that we humble ourselves and tell ourselves, okay, yeah, I think I need to educate myself on so and so topic, right? And then after that, we will also go into strategies for understanding finance and then give you guys some action items. So let's start with, just recognizing those obvious problems. Jyoti, do you want to talk about it first?
Yes, yeah. Thank you, Priya, for that obvious problems that we see in the society. And I do see that there is definitely an awareness that is missing in the mindset of the woman. That is the main thing. The mindset of the woman is definitely missing that part. Because just like Nargis was saying, even if I'm talking about myself, in India, I grew up with my dad handling the finances. And then when I got married, at my ex-husband, of course, he was handling the finances. I never had any reason to question where the money is coming from. I got money for anything that I was needing for my household, expenses. So I had no reason to find out what is the source or what is happening there. I had no reason. But I ended up when I came to US, that's when I was earning my paycheck. Again, with the same mindset that has been inbuilt with us culturally, unknowingly, we are not aware about it, but it is inbuilt within us, and that's where even I lacked. When I came here and I had my own paycheck was to spend money, and that's all I did because I did not know nothing about finances. So I was just doing that until I found out much late, right? So our culture upbringing has always been the mindset that money is attached to the man of the household. That actually has been a barrier. So even if today the women may be corporate working lady or housemaker, doesn't matter. Everyone is having the man is handling the finances. So the mindset is very important. I won't say that 100% women are doing that because I have met many women who are actually very financially savvy as well, right? But 80%, I would say, or 85% of women are definitely depending on the men to handle the finances. And that's mainly the cultural upbringing. So even after coming from India to US, they carry the same mindset. That needs to be addressed. Hey, it's just like a routine. If women can solve a day-to-day problem in the household, this is just a part of the problem solving that you need to be aware about. So the mindset needs to shift is the main thing.
And women are problem solvers in, I would say, in general, right? Because when there is a problem at home, women are the ones who are the first to jump on it and, employ resources and get on it. But somehow, when it comes to finances, everybody kind of takes a step back. And the surprising thing is, I don't want to generalize, but we are a math obsessed culture, right? We're a math obsessed culture over here. I would say, like, even the ad for to start a Kumon franchise, the ad has an Indian woman on it because people know that Indians are kind of math obsessed, and we send our kids to Kumon and or Mathnasium, and we make sure that they do really good in math and all of that stuff, right? And even we have toppers, people who are toppers at math, but somehow when it comes to finances and applying that into our own lives, we all take a step back. Why is that?
Yeah. And I would say one of the examples, actually, I was invited by a lady here who was actually working in a corporate and also had a personal boutique. And I happened to go there to buy a kurti for a holy event. And since she was talking to me and I told her what I was doing, and she said, "Oh, really? Can you come and talk to my husband about a college planning for my daughter?" I said, "Sure." So she invited me the next day. I went the next day and so the husband was available. I sat down with him and I asked where the wife was. And he says, "Oh, she's making some chai. But you can start the conversation with her, with me, because she's not interested in finances and she will not even understand anything." And I saw she was a corporate lady. I saw she was running her own boutique and she will not understand finance, did not add up to me. So I still continued my conversation with him until the wife brought in the chai on the table. And then I insisted her to sit on the table. Then when I made the conversation, the wife was really amazed with the curiosity and information that she got on the table. So when I had to schedule another meeting, a follow-up meeting the next day, wife was the first one to sit on the table. "Jyoti, tell me more. I want to understand this in detail." So given an opportunity, they will listen to it. But I see the gap that they are not making a part of it because husbands themselves say, "Oh, she won't understand anything. Oh, It's okay. I'm handling everything. Right? So that is where the gap is. Give the opportunity to the wife. Give the opportunity to the person because she's also an important part of the family goals and everything that is related that you are going as a family ahead. Right? You're going to ask her permission whether you should buy something or not. But why are you not asking her permission or putting her on the same table to explain her the finances?
And I think partly it is also because we tend to not be curious, right? So I think it's really important for us to be curious about different financial instruments. I mean, so just so you know, you guys, Jyoti and I met yesterday, and Jyoti was kind of giving us, kind of for my family, kind of giving us the overview of what we need to be thinking about and stuff like that. And there's one thing that she said, and I don't want to steal your thunder, but one thing that you said, which was like, we have 4 stages, and everybody goes through the same thing. And I'm sure even if it's Sundar Pichai or if it's Mark Zuckerberg, they also have the same stages in life where it's like, there's a time when they're working, and then there's a time when they're retiring, and then there's a time, the no-go stage where you can't do anything, right? So there's, those stages of life, they apply to all of us, regardless of who you are, right? Whether it is myself or you or whether it's Mark Zuckerberg or anyone. Yeah, so that issue is going to be there for everyone. So needing that curiosity mindset to educate oneself about finance and about one's own financial well-being is kind of it's kind of like needing to exercise. Am I right? So tell me, Nargis, tell me what is your viewpoint on, what are the most obvious problems you see, in terms of women and finances?
So the biggest thing which I have observed is, number one, awareness is definitely not there because we never see finance as a tool. We always see finance as some specialty, and that comes from the conditioning which we have, which we were grown up in, the patriarchal society. That's how we were conditioned. And I was listening to someone today, I think Irfan Khan, and he was saying that from the moment a girl child is born, she is conditioned. Maybe it has changed, but it is from few years before that. Since you're growing up, you are taught that you'll be going to somebody else's house. So she is not someone who's belonging in her own house, in her own parents' house. Then you go to somebody else's house, and that also is like, not your own home. So that feeling of you don't belong either to this place or that is strongly inbuilt in the women. And hence, that is one of the reasons where she is not part of the discussions of the bigger picture, basically. How to run things. She's allowed to run the home, but she's not allowed to make the bigger decision. So, and that condition has become very natural. So even though today we have been very educated, executive or something, we still do not think as our forte. It doesn't come naturally to us. So unless and until we start thinking finance as a tool, just consider like, I am assuming most of the women cook today, like Indian women, if you are a mom, then you are a tiger mom. You need to feed your child. And that's one of the biggest specialty of us. A child need to be fed. My God, he's not eating enough. That's the story you'll hear from every new mom. So just assume, you're cooking, and what's the most important ingredient in it? The most important ingredient is the salt, right? Without it, it won't taste anything. So finance is just like salt. You cannot run any part of the household, any part of your bigger life picture without finances, without knowing how your money is coming in, how it is getting distributed into different needs and wants, and how are you saving it? What are the plans of, saving it? Is the main question is whatever money you are earning, you worked very hard for it. Now the question is the money you brought in, is it working for you? Are you making your money work for you? Right? Because in today's time, we all know inflation is quite high. If the government is advertising it's 5% or so, then believe me, it is already at 10 and 12%. And today people are feeling that. 2 salaries are kind of not enough to buy a home, have a luxury, not luxury, but a good kind of life people may have. So what are the different things people think of doing, what kind of investing they want to do? In short, how do they think that they should make the money work for them? But before all of this comes, that awareness needs to come, okay, that I am part of this. We are a team, husband, wife, kids, we are a team. And from there, we need to go. What are the things I need to do? As a woman, what are the 7 things you can do in order to build that confidence? Most of us women, the biggest thing is confidence. We may have the curiosity, but the lack of confidence doesn't go behind that curiosity. So that's the one thing which we need to tackle. First is building confidence. No question is a wrong question. People come to me, even men, they sometimes hesitate. I'll tell them in the chat room, the trading room I run, I said, ask questions. So they said, then privately they'll ask me the question. I said, why don't you ask me in the room? He said, hey, I'm scared. Maybe it's a wrong question. I said, there is no wrong question. There is no concept as wrong question. Unless and until you ask, you will not know what the answer is, or you will not find a way to get the answer. Yes, if a trade goes wrong, you are ashamed to tell that you've lost the money, but it's very important owning that thing, that yes, I lost the money. Why? Because it's a big learning of what you did. And majority of the time, it's the personality. Do you know yourself? How do you work? Do you know when there is stress? Do you know when is pressure? There are people who work very well under pressure, like me. I thrive. If there is a lot of things to do and there's a pressure, and a trade is going again, so many things are going again, I'll be at my best behavior. But there are people who will not be able to sleep when things are not going okay. So it's very important to know your personality, and based on that, start learning things to grow along those lines. And in terms of finances, also start developing a plan where it works for you, work for your families, both the husband and wife's personality, and go from there. So that's how I would start with knowing yourself first and working on building confidence.
Do you have any strategies for, when you say knowing yourself, do you have any strategies for identifying, like, who are you? Like, how do you know yourself? So, and I think we also need to be aware that at this point, we're kind of in a transition. There's those of us who have, the Indian woman is, there's a wide spectrum. There are women who are, obviously educated, very highly educated, and very capable, running their own businesses, and who have a clear idea of finances. And then there are women who may have been brought up in the more traditional Indian family, where they have not been given much of an education, especially as far as finances is concerned, right? So there's a very broad spectrum here. But I think the strategies we're talking about here are going to be valid for any one of those women. It doesn't really matter. So
few things I always suggest is regarding the personality is, as I've said, I've encountered many traders. Men are very natural at it, because I think they are conditioned that they are the bread earners. So they go and, do the thing. They have very fast fingers. They go and, take a $10,000 trade and come out with $13,000, $3,000 profit in half an hour, 1 hour. And we women tend to think a lot, because we have to, look at all the angles, a 360-degree view. So we are good investors, and some of us could be very good traders as well. The main thing is, yes, first identify your personality. That's very important. And identify, as you had mentioned earlier, to look at what could be not working or lacking, right? As you said, to look into flaws as first, right? Some people may want to come up and ask the question, they cannot, but they won't be able to do it because the lack of confidence doesn't let them, suppose in this meeting, someone may have a question, but they may still not be able to voice it because just the thought of, maybe it's wrong or sounding right. I don't know how other people will see it. So that thought needs to go away first, because you are out in a journey to acquire knowledge. One of the biggest thing which I have seen is we Desi people are, if I can use the word in a very nicer way, cheap. In the sense is we want most of the stuff for free, right? can I get this for free? Even for services, people will make a lot of money from me, but they would still be hesitant to sign up the service because, hey, Nargis, how can I join for free? Even on Twitter, I'll post a lot of analysis and they'll demand me that, hey, Nargis, can you post the analysis for this? And when it comes to what it says is that we are very hesitant in investing in our own self.
Mhm.
Whether that investing is about building your confidence, building your self esteem, reading books, finding a mentor,
Oh, yeah.
being going into groups like this. We do not prioritize, okay, this is an important meeting, maybe I learn something, maybe if I attend 15 minutes, I'll come up with only one thing, maybe that will inspire me.
Yeah.
And then there are trainings. A lot of stuff is free today in the world of social media. A lot of stuff is free, but then investing is also, investing money in yourself. That money is also a tool. Unless and until you spend some money on yourself, like for example, grooming, right? One of the things of becoming confidence is dress for success, and that needs putting in something, getting a nice outfit, not costly, but something which goes with your personality, doing your hair, having some makeup on, proper accessories. That itself will, though, if you look in the mirror, if it is giving you confidence, then you will be confident talking to people. If you look in the mirror and the picture which it is giving out, you feel confident, I am sure the 5 sentences you speak to someone, it will be very confident. That's the part most don't understand. And that's where, and one of the things we do is, even if we go out, let's say if it was a physical meeting, offline meeting, and a lot of women came, one of the things we don't do is we don't observe the confident women. We may look at them, with awe. Most of and majority of them will look at them with jealousy, but they won't observe them. You understand the difference?
Oh, yes, absolutely.
Yes.
And these are some of the things that are holding us back. I mean,
Yes.
overall, even in the field of finance, like as in even to ignite our curiosity, some of the lack of confidence, what you're saying is the lack of confidence, the lack of self-worth, I might almost say, right, is holding us back from from investing in the right things,
Yes.
right?
Yes, definitely. So here I am in India right now. I came here for some personal work, and but life goes on, so I'm still working here. And the kind of studies I do, I was trying to look up a few people here. I found a fellow trader. He's pretty experienced, and I wanted to learn from him. And the thing he told me is, Nargis, you know how you got your knowledge. And that is only by self-study, because the kind of studies we do, that person did not share it with the world, he took it with himself. So we all are trying to decode that. And you have been successful in decoding to where you are. I have also done the same thing. But the part of it is that I cannot share the knowledge. I cannot share the secrets of what I've learned, because my wife is sitting here. I will not teach my wife also, but I'll teach my daughter, he said. So he flatly refused me, right? That I will not teach, but I want knowledge from that person. So I want to pursue him. I said, you give me 15 minutes of your time and, you see my work. And then, I'm not saying you give me a secret recipe or you give me anything, but I want to go in this route. Can you guide me how to start there, or how to, pick up from there? So I'll keep calling him. I'll keep being, sharing my studies with him and all. And then that person finally said, okay, you know what? First week of November, let's sit down and talk. So you have to pursue what interests you as well. Having passion is one thing, but working for that interest, working for what is needed is very, very important. You can't say, okay, tomorrow I'll do it, or, this I'll do it. You have to get up first and do it and sit. Everyone goes and, we are immigrants here, husband, wife living here, majority of the family in India. And the worry which always goes in our head is if something happens to us, what will happen to our kids? So we all go and make a will, make a trust. So at that time, a lot of questions come up. So if you're going and sitting and talking about it, then these are also one of the things which the women need to address. How can I empower myself? Either I'm a homemaker or I'm a working professional. How can I gather the things or the tools to be aware of this finances as well. And one of the tool is Jyoti. She does the investment thing, retirement thing. I am someone who will make your money work for you. And Priya or other women are there who can serve as very good mentors. We all are very good mentors. So the thing which is behind me is behind every great woman is another great woman, right?
Exactly.
So we need to be each other's strength.
Yes.
Right? We need to learn to mentor. We need to learn to talk other than just, hey, my kid didn't eat today. What can I do? This and that. More than that, our talks needs to start empowering each other. Like men do, the circles are very tight. For me to make my path in the circle is so tough because even today they don't trust a woman who is into dealing with economics or world finances or saying how India's economy is going or USA market is going. But when they see my study, they get scared because they are more talks and I'm the actual, to the point number. It's very tough to penetrate. But if I have been a teensy-mincy little bit of successful in gathering more than 10,000 followers, it means that I do have something. I do have credibility. So use that credibility. I'm here to, talk about how to go to the next step. We'll have virtual coffee dates and all. Come with your questions. We'll talk. We'll get you started in the right direction. So the mentorship is always there. We just need to go and seek it.
And I couldn't agree with you more, Nargis, in all of these points, right? Because when we're talking about finance here, the lack of financial knowledge is merely a symptom, right? It's like, I remember you didn't use this sentence, but if you're gonna use it, I'm gonna use it before you. I'm gonna steal your thunder, but you said finance is not out of syllabus. I remember you said that, and that.
Yes. Yes.
So it's like the fact that we don't educate ourselves with finance, we're not curious enough, it's a symptom of a larger problem, right? It's a symptom of the fact
Yes.
that we lack confidence. There are men have very tight-knit groups, whether it's in finance or in any other industry, right? There are very tight-knit groups. And in order for us to actually break those barriers, there is no reason why we cannot demand a seat at the table, regardless of what industry it is in, right? But then, of course, here we're talking about finance. So I think if we go into that direction, there's so much we can talk about how we need to, how we need to kind of break those barriers. But we will come back to that. Jyoti, tell me some basic strategies for understanding finance. I mean, like let's just start at the basics, right? We have the economy, we have inflation, we have a lot of things that we need to worry about. But at the basic level, if I am, I'm an individual, I'm not, I'm not looking at the economy, I'm not looking at, other major things. I just want to know, what are some of the strategies for me to understand my personal finance? What are some of the strategies you would give?
So when you're talking about finances and why women are not being a part of it or something, but if you remember back in the days, actually, it is by default we have that in us. If you look back in India, our grandmas, mom, they used to hide the money into a rice jar. If you go back, it was a default in a woman. Long back, if you look into our grandma India village, they'll put the monies left over from the grocery expense or any change or anything. They were putting it in the rice jar, sugar jar, and all of that. And whenever the son or someone, maybe if they got an opportunity to work in a city, bigger city, and they don't have funds to travel the city, or maybe the son is in a really problem or anything happens, the husband has, and they do not know where to go, and the grandma or the mother will come up and say, hey beta, this is the money, you can take care of it. So this is where it has been built in us by default. But today, we still miss that point out. It is in us. But again, today every woman, they may not be a part of financial conversation, but they are solving financial problem on the day-to-day basis. To bring the grocery, to bring whatever that is, they know what to buy or what not to buy, right? But probably the thing so the grandma actually taught us the emergency fund. Now we give the title as emergency fund, but we already had back then. So today we need to understand, every woman actually need to understand that, hey, while they're doing all of these, the monthly expense and all of that, are they saving a little bit for a rainy day? That is very important. Basic, every family, every woman needs to understand why they are going about in their daily life, solving every day-to-day problem. So this is very basic thing that every woman should be looking into. How can they help themselves? Because coming to America, it's completely a different environment, different lifestyle, different things that will need money, right? Like money is attached to everything, right? From college planning, and every part of our life is attached with the money. But then sometimes you say, I cannot afford my daughter to go into so and so college, or I cannot afford to do this and that. Why? Because you have not done proper planning for yourself, or probably you may not have done a thought about it. So become aware about the reality of anything around money, your home financing, right? There may be one income or two income may be coming into the household. If you're not saving that money, then you are not realizing, or maybe you're missing the point that you have a hole in a bucket. You're just putting the money in where it is going, you don't even know.
Exactly.
So that is the basic thing that any woman should look into their own thing.
So basically, we need to at the very least, we need to know what's coming in, what's going out on a
Yeah,
daily basis, right?
on a daily basis.
And I would say that that's good financial practice for everyone, right? Not just everyone.
It should be, yeah, and also what happens is sometimes they all coming in and all going out, not realizing where it is going out, and that's where they need to differentiate between wants and needs. Why the money is not being saved? Oh, what is then they are monitoring their expenses, right? So that expense will tell them that what is happening to my expenses? Where am I spending? Maybe I'm spending too much on things that I don't even need it.
Yeah, yeah. Too many
Right?
subscriptions. Too many subscriptions sometimes.
Subscriptions, yeah, too many subscription, a TV in every room, or maybe something like I was telling one of my clients who I was sitting down and educating them on their personal finances, and I was doing a well check on them, and then I found out a family of four, they had two daughters, and their grocery income was 4 times the regular family income. And I was wondering, I said, everything is good, but I see that your grocery is way too much. And the husband and wife started looking at each other. And wife was like, hold on a minute. You know what, Jyoti? I'm glad you brought this up, but I'm going to monitor my expense from this month and I'll get back to you on that. And she did. She said, I ended up making my pantry so beautiful with things that I did not even need. And that's when she figured out. Now she is back to what she wants. So this is where you can cut edges and adjust your lifestyle.
And it's those old-fashioned values that our moms and grandmoms taught us are actually important, right? Even though in today's day you'll see a lot of financial gurus telling you all kinds of things, but some of those old-fashioned values are, as in, taking care of, making sure that you live within your means, taking care of needs versus wants, what do you absolutely need versus what do you really want, those things. It's important to kind of differentiate that, and kind of sometimes those old-fashioned values actually help, right?
It is not that you should not have the want things. You save enough, you plan your goal enough that you have enough to spend on wants then. But initially you may have to adjust your lifestyle.
Yeah.
Go to that stage that, hey, I can take and I can afford every wants also that I need. I'm not looking at the price tag, right? This is what I want. This is what I'm going to get, right?
Yeah.
So adjust your lifestyle initially to be where you are.
Yeah. So I know this is off script. We didn't plan for this, but I'm gonna bring in an example. I think you know this, Jyoti, because you responded to my Facebook post. there was a Facebook post that I posted about Gucci, the guy who founded Gucci, and how he, the story was basically an Instagram reel. It was about how he used to be an elevator operator, and for 20 years, he observed while he was operating the elevator in a very posh hotel in London, the Savoy Hotel, and he observed, the rich people as they came in, what they wore, what they how they behaved, what their luggage looked like, and all of that. And the point I'm trying to bring here is that it for 20 years he had a want. He wanted to start this company, I'm guessing, right? But for 20 years he saved the money. He saved the money with an intention, and he obviously he went and built the house of Gucci. Everybody knows who's Gucci is right now. So that's I think kind of extrapolating on what you were saying right now, right, Jyoti? That
Yeah.
take care, like save for what you want.
Yeah. So he had a clarity of the vision, what his end goal was, and that is very important.
Yeah.
If you have the clarity of the end goal, then you will naturally go towards and make everything, adjust your life or whatever you need to do to make that end goal happen.
Yeah. And that financial end goal is kind of where we're kind of pushing people to think of right now.
Right. So basic thing is, to watch your expenses, so that you can make your goals happen. Have the emergency fund for a rainy day, and these are the few basic things that every woman should be doing it, so that now they can take care of the future plans and what is ahead there. Are you prepared for any uncertainties of the life, right?
And this basically means that you need to have paid yourself first.
Yes, exactly.
Make sure that all those buckets that you need to fill are filled before you go out and
Spend all of that. Yeah, have you protected yourself first? Because see, when you are buying a car or your home, everything is insured, right?
Yeah.
You're protecting everything, right? So why are you not protecting yourself? First protect yourself, because you are the breadwinner of the house. So protect yourself before you plan of everything else.
Exactly.
Protect your money, protect your assets, so that you can plan your future.
And it's important. Basically, I think what the point we are trying to drive here is the importance of protecting yourself.
Yes, because I see that, and this is where I mean, going to address one thing is, because when you have not protected yourself, that's when I see this GoFundMe, and that really saddens me. That why are you not protecting yourself and be in a situation like a digital begging?
Yeah.
Do I want my spouse to digital beg when I'm not there? Because I have not protected myself, I have not protected my family. So why are you waiting until the last minute to protect yourself? Why are you being reactive? Why don't you, instead of GoFundMe, always say, why don't you have iFundMe?
Yeah. Yes, I remember.
So fund yourself first, protect yourself first, before you think about anything else.
Yeah, and before becoming a burden to anyone else, right?
Anyone else, yeah.
Ourselves first. Yeah.
Right, exactly.
And so moving on to Nargis. Nargis, tell us your opinion on some strategies for understanding finance. Like what are the roadblocks that women face, and how can we start understanding finance a little bit more?
So we have talked about the roadblocks, right, already. So those are mostly the lack of awareness, confidence, self-esteem. These are the things which are a major roadblock. It's not that we are not capable. It's just that, we don't know that we could do that. That's one thing. And the other thing is how to go about it. That's the thing. So let's talk about how to go about it. So definitely, as I said, in today's social media world, it has become pretty easy to get information. But again, it's a information overload. So you need to become smart, like what information you need to get and what you need to skip. That's also very important. So the first thing is, subscribe to some good newsletters. Find, for example, I would tell about it, like, on Twitter. Twitter is one of the major space for finance. Like your Instagram is there, mostly a marketing tool. TikTok would be again your more marketing tool where younger people feel like, putting out content. But Twitter is a place where you'll find actual content in terms of finance related. You'll get the news there faster. You'll get the events happening there faster. And you'll also get, a lot of people post links and courses on how to go about it. Like uh, the guy which I generally work with, we do spaces together and we do all these talks and all that. He had put out a very nice collection that I paid X amount of money to get a 4 years college degree in finance, but here are the things which you could go and learn stuff where you don't need. And we don't want to get a finance degree, but we just want the basic stuff of when my money comes in, how can I divide it into few different buckets? One is running the everyday household. Two is, saving for the future. And the other part is, third bucket is, how can I make this third bucket work for me so that it helps me use my first and second bucket? Right? How can it help me? Like I said, one is a need, one is a desire. So this third bucket would help me with my wants and also with my future. So basically, what are your thoughts on having a side income? Let's say you are just a working professional, your husband is also a working professional, or you are a homemaker and your husband works. Whatever the permutation and combination is, it could be reversed also. It's not that always the women needs to. I mean, today men are also homemakers, so it doesn't matter. It's gender agnostic basically. One person earning or two people earning. The question is, how have you planned or what can you do in order to make your money work for you? What are the different things you can do? A lot of people do, for example, you are in real estate. A lot of people, buy properties, either commercial or residential, and, in different places or even in different states, and then rent them out. And that rental income is their side income. Some people may have some businesses, they may go and get a franchisee or something. And and if the woman is a homemaker and she may think that my limit is only here, it's in her head, right? It's not the actual story. She may think, oh, I'm not that educated, or I don't know how how to be a very good professional. So they think, okay, I'll make homemade food and sell it. But technically it is a business, it is a side income coming in. And they would be happy and say, okay, I'll sell rotis, a pack of rotis or different kind of rotis. And but the question is, have you thought about the people who are buying from you? Are they their repeat customers? If they are a repeat customer, then you may be doing something right. If you're doing something right, then the second question you need to ask is, how can I scale it? Because I am good in this. It is my USP. How can I package it better? How can I, advertise it better? What are the other things which I can add? So basically, getting to a mindset where this is my product and I am the tool for it. How can it make it better? And, make it an actual side income, make it a countable side income. So you're not saying, oh, it's my hobby to do it. I hate it when people say that, it's my hobby to do it. Yes, you started because you like doing it, but now it's a real business. Treat it like a real business. So that's one of the things which a lot of Indian Desi women do, but they don't realize that they're actually running a business.
They're running a business, and the fact that they've made that first step has already changed their mindset.
Yes.
So they just need to have the confidence
Yes.
to kind of learn it a little bit, right?
Yeah.
So that's one thing about
one thing. And the other thing which I say is, like men network a lot, right? They are always on the lookout for who is going to help me in the sense, help me enhance my personality, help me, give me some learning in order, because they have the path straight. I'm a individual contributor. Tomorrow I want to be the manager. The day after I want to be a director. So they have the path straight. So they go looking about the different kind of people who would help them do the journey. So women need to also start becoming that way. If my journey is this way, then who all are going to help me reach that goal? Because remember, it's not a journey which you can do alone. You will need the support of people. So I know a very good example came to my head, and it's a very cliched thing. I'm in India. I'm living in a hotel in Pune, and just two or three buildings away, there is a Lakshmi Mata Mandir. And since it's a Diwali season, it's a lot of stuff is going on. The mandir is decorated, and I was like looking at it, and I was saying, "Oh, Lakshmi Mata, so from the window, just throw some billions of dollars at me," you know. So jokes apart, but I was thinking, like, why does she sit on a lion? See, women are very glorified in India. We are the goddesses. We are treated that way. Means they see that we have strength, but the thing is, they don't let us use the strength, right? And my thing is that Lakshmi, the Durga could sit on anything. She could sit on a throne. She could sit on anything, but she's sitting on a lion. So it got me thinking, why is she sitting on a lion? So lion is also a symbol of power, a tool which can be with her to protect her, to guide her, and also stand in front of her if something comes. So what she's trying to say is, even though I am the goddess, my tool is equally powerful.
Right.
So we need to get a tool which is equally powerful, which will help us go. And these are your family. Your spouse needs to be that tool first at home. Then your family needs to be that tool for you. Then your friends and the circle you move in, that needs to be a tool. They need to enable you, empower you, to help you go there. Your mentors, find mentors who will, guide you in the right direction, be there for you, help you out, tell you where to go, what to do. I mean, not what to do, but, like you and I here are sitting and talking, right? So this is nothing but a tool.
Yeah.
In my opinion, right?
And taking the effort.
So those are the things which are yes, taking the effort of going forward, and then read some books. Some of the few books which I had. I'm reading a book now called Alchemist.
Oh yes.
It's a very good. Yeah. So it's about going from to do your journey, going to the goal, but how can you go there? How to dream and go there. So it's achievable. It's doable. So it's written in a very simple language, and nothing very overwhelming and all that. So I like it.
Yes.
So those are some of the books are there, and then you'll find a lot of books on finances. But I would say, go there. First thing I would say is come and follow me on Twitter and see what I post, and see if that initially you won't understand anything if you've never been in that space, but it will be a start. And then if it spikes up your curiosity, then there are ways to learn it. There are ways to find out. The whole point is, if something happens tomorrow and you have to become in charge of your whole household, are you prepared for it? That's the question we need to answer.
Biggest question, right? That we need to be prepared for that one thing. Like we need to be prepared to be independently handling our finances.
Yes.
So let's talk about some strategies.
And sure.
Go ahead.
Yeah. So one of the things for that would be, if you're prepared with your money, then the only thing you have to go through it, how to keep your family together, the emotional stuff. Then you don't have to worry about anything else. So in order to work, have your money worked, as I said, divide it into 3 buckets. That third bucket is a very important bucket, where whatever money you have planned to save, make that money work for you. Start a business. If you have that mindset, think of starting a business, do some investments, whatever is working, work with related professionals. Initially, when you're not aware, don't just go and do it yourself, but talk to people who are already doing it and see, these are conditions. How can you help us grow our money for that? And, stock market is another way to help your money grow. The only question is, you definitely need to know how it works. And I wouldn't suggest anybody to just go and start doing, oh, okay, it's there, and it looks so glamorous. From outside, it looks glamorous, but could be not. It's definitely a really hard work. You need to know what's going on all here. Invest. So there are a lot of investments in terms of finance worlds as well. Your mutual funds are there, your CDs are there. It all depends on what kind of things you want to do with your money and how fast you want to go, and all that depends on your personality. Taking some, small financial courses which are already freely available. So much is available. YouTube is your best guide. There is so much available on it. To start looking at it, they'll teach you basic stuff about stock market, also how it works, what it works. Because the main thing is, a lot of people come to me and say, Nargis, I have this ESPP. When should I sell it? Even my own husband the other day was asking, Nargis, what should I do with? So these are the basic stuff. If you are having ESPP, then what would be the best time to sell it, and how will you get that information?
Yeah.
Right? So a lot of people say today, my God, I sold Nvidia at $200 and now it is $1,200. I missed out on that $1,000. So if you sold it, when you sold it $200, you were very happy. Oh my God, I made 200. I made like $150 a share. But when you saw it at 200, you didn't see that you made 150 a share. You saw that you left $1,000 on the table per share. Right?
Yeah.
So these are the small things which, yes. So these are the things which, so one of my client which comes to me, and he was working for Broadcom, and in between Broadcom acquisition and all that, they acquired VMware basically, and he was moved to Broadcom, and he was having some shares. And he says, Nargis, I need to sell these. I said, you hold on to it, you wait for some time. You sell it at 1,200 to 1,500 in between you. I said, Nargis, that's so far away. It's not going. I said, do you need money? Do you need money right now? Do you need anything? He said, no, I don't need that money, but it's already at $800. It's a lot of money, right? I said, yes, but tomorrow when you see it at 1,200, you will see that you lost that $400. If you are not in a hurry, this is your stop loss. Put your stop loss. You will not make 800. You will make 750, but that $50 will give you a risk to get another 400 or $450. He said, okay, Nargis, fine. I'll go with your plan. And then he exited around 1,300 or something. So that's an extra almost $500. Yeah, there's extra 100. And one of the story is one of my friend, she was planning to buy a home, and she said same. She was also working for Broadcom, and she was like, Nargis, I need to sell my shares because we need to fund the home. So when should I sell it, or what do I do? Do you think I should sell it? I said, wait, let it go to 1,000. It will hit as close to 1,000 as possible. So you still have $200 to $50 of margin there. So she waited, she get it, and then she wrote to me, Nargis, thank you so much. Because of you, we paid our house all down. We didn't take the loan.
Amazing.
So, yeah. So these are the things which are there, where subtle nuances, when to buy, when to sell. And when to buy, when to sell is not about stocks. It's about everything. Your home, when to buy, when to sell, right? You may buy it, but you may never sell it, but that's the start. In business, the best example is we go and start a buying in October, November, December. Why? Because it's the biggest sales season. Because the market has trained us that these are your best deals which you get in. Just lift it up and think about the finance world. Yeah, just go lift it up and think about the finance world. What are the best times when things are, to get in or get out or do stuff?
Yeah, and it means
we are doing all this, but we are not taking it to another level. That's all.
And we don't have enough curiosity, I feel, right? That, like, right now, what you just said ignited my curiosity as to, okay, maybe I should go to Twitter or to X and educate myself. And we live in an age when we are blessed with so much education. We are blessed with so much education. There is so much free education. There is, I once attended a weekend workshop on real estate, and the guy said, it was an 8-hour workshop, right? From 8 or 10-hour workshop. It was like all day. It was free, but it was all day at a hotel where, the meals were catered, everything was catered, and they were trying to sell a coaching package and everything. And he said, you know what? If you're not willing to work hard, then you don't have to be here. It is an intense workshop for the whole weekend. You could go home and you could finish off a Netflix series in this time if you wanted to. Because if you want to actually do something, you have to work hard, you have to put in the effort, you have to be curious, you have to, go out there, put yourself out there, find out the information that needs to be there. And I think that is pretty much what we're all saying, right? Like, because otherwise there's plenty of addictions that are there for us to consume. There's Netflix and Amazon Prime, and you can finish off a series in a whole weekend and, chill, relax, as they say. But you would never make it to the next level unless you put that extra effort. Am I right?
Yes, definitely. So I would definitely
And
suggest, like, people who have come here, and the ladies who are joining us, who have joined us, they are here because they are curious. They are curious to start something. So maybe they're just looking for some direction, how it clicks for me, where do I fit in this talk and all that. So definitely, ladies, reach out to us, either three of us, and
actually, talking about curiosity, I would talk about myself, starting with myself, right? So coming here, like I told you, I did not know what a computer was. So as a nanny, when I was taking the kids to the library to read the storybooks there, and I used to see at that time there was a big computer, like a box, sitting in the center of the library, and I used to wonder what these boxes were. So when I learned driving, when I got my work permit, and when I started driving, and doctor said, okay, you can have a half a day out. I used to go to the library and I said, okay, what this box is, right? And she educated me on the computer. So if I had not shown the curiosity, probably I would still be working something like this, or being a cashier somewhere, or I do not know what could have been a journey. Another incident that I see myself, that in a hotel industry, one time when we had got another hotel in Austin, and my original hotel was in Corpus Christi. So I used to come here in Austin Hotel to watch these music show events and all of that. So one time that I came down, oh, we have a hotel now, our own hotel, where I was a partner. And that's when I found out an unusual activity happening at the hotel. And that got to my curiosity. And I studied some of the reports in the nighttime. And I figured out that a big time money embezzle was happening at the hotel. So if I had not had that curiosity, and then I ended up handling that hotel as well. That's why I ended up having two hotels at the same time. Right? So that really
look deeper into the numbers, right?
yes, yes, that actually. And then also my curiosity of ensuring about my cancer treatment led me into the financial domain. Right. So all of this, if you're not curious about yourself, you have it inbuilt in you. Right. Even in every woman at home also, they may be curious about what's going on in the kid's life. Oh, so the curiosity is there, but they are missing in certain areas, and that's where they need to bring that awareness.
Right.
That little things will make difference in their life.
It does make sense. Yes. The little things, exactly. I think that is, it's often, one thing leads to another.
Yes.
And you get one little bit of information, and then your curiosity gets ignited. And the universe kind of brings you, based on your interest, it kind of brings you what you're looking for, right? A lot of the time, it brings you what
Right.
you're looking for. So you ignite that curiosity, and, it kind of, it's like they say, right? What is it? I'm not a psychologist here, but they call it reticular, forget the name of it. Basically, you go and buy a red car, and then you see that everyone on the road has a red
all
car.
the red cards.
Right?
Yeah.
Yes.
But suddenly you're paying attention to the red cars. So it's the same way. The information is all out there. We just have to go out, be curious, and look for it, and we're likely to find it.
And YouTube has a lot of information out there. Whatever you are trying to go into, everything that YouTube is definitely having it.
Yeah, YouTube
You know,
and
Priya, one
go ahead.
of the things which I would suggest is, do not hesitate. Like, for example, I'll give you an example. Everybody has their personality. So I'm not saying you go out of your main personality, whatever your main nature is, basic nature is. Some people are really introvert, and that's okay. But they are very good observers, right? So you observe. and you make points and then you do it. But some people are a little bit extrovert, they can go and talk to strangers as well, and that is their USP, that is their strength. So I'll tell you an example. Today I was having a breakfast in the in hotel upstairs. They do it on the sitting and talking already when I went there. So one guy, he was talking about how to go to Bombay, and I jumped in between. I said, even I'm interested to go cost-effective way. Instead of hiring a private car. So they were talking, and we started talking, and then they introduced themselves. One was a guy who would do certification for imports, exports, which happen here in the food industry, like vegetables and fruits which come to US, for example. So he was the guy who works for that certification. And the other guy, he said he had come from Tanzania. He's looking into aquaculture, fish farming. He was doing this. I said, it's an interesting subject. So for 2 hours, I sat there and talked to him. How it is done, what it is done, the whole economy of Tanzania, whole economy of UAE, what's happening in India. One talk led to another, because I am someone who talks to people and figure out what people are thinking and how the economy will shape up based on the living conditions of people and all. And I realized Tanzania is a very under-tapped country where a lot of business potentials could be. And me and my husband are talking, to start a cafe. So we were looking for some resources in order to educate ourselves to what is needed to set up a cafe. While talking, he said, I'm going to grow turmeric also, this also. Then I suddenly asked, do you grow coffee as well in Tanzania? He said, yeah, their African beans are very good, and this is blah, blah, blah. He stated, and he said, you know what? My brother he started a cafe in Dubai, and he's doing this, and he realized that, he roasts very good coffee. The whole beauty about coffee is, the roasting. How you roast it will give the taste. And then I said, then he showed me on Instagram, the cafe is beautiful. See how things, so much of talk connected me back to, starting the cafe, and he already has a cafe. He said, Nargis, don't worry, I'll tell my brother, whatever questions you have, you ask him, you talk to him. He'll tell you all about the beans. He'll tell you what all he did in starting the cafe. So I got a resource now. I got a resource in Tanzania if I want to go and do something there. And I got a resource in Dubai where, cafe is already built in and they've invited, be a guest and, do all this. So this takes a little bit of strength to overcoming your confidence a little bit and injecting yourself in a conversation.
Yeah.
So again, this is not for everyone. If you are a really introvert, you may not do it, but you must sit at the side table, maybe put a table a little bit near and listen to their talks. Yeah. I mean, not eavesdropping in the wrong way, but being appropriate. What I'm saying is, it doesn't hurt to ask. Believe me. At the max, what will happen? They won't say, they won't give you the information, or nothing will come out of it. But go and talk, go and ask. Hey, I saw this, that you do this very well. Could you guide me to do this? That's a very good starting point.
Exactly.
For anyone, irrespective of who. I'm saying teach your kids also. In today's world, we live on phones, we live on social media, we stop interacting with each other. But this is one thing. Teach your kids to go out and talk and to reach out to people and,
and never
talk
feel
about things of interest.
Right? Never feel helpless. I feel that is that is one of those things that we need to fight against, the feeling of helplessness, because if we don't have money, if we don't have power, there is that feeling of helplessness. And I think by talking to people and educating oneself, you're fighting that feeling of helplessness, right? And to kind of connect that back to what Jyoti's, where Jyoti's coming from, we're talking about insurance and taking care of oneself. When there is an eventuality, when the finances are taken care of, a lot of the stresses are reduced. Is that right?
Yes, definitely. Yes, definitely. So this is something which is, you just need to start it. You just need to start going it, and believe me, once you start it, you'll find a lot of resources around you. The first resource would be your spouse. Sit with him and talk. Hey, I'm curious about this. Tell me how did it happen? Tell me how, our budget is going. How do we do it? What can we do it? And all that. Start at home.
Yeah. So, what are some of the action items? We have like 12 minutes left, Jyoti, and I'll give this question to Jyoti. Like, tell us what are some of the action items people can go home with today?
Making sure that they understand their basic finances at home. And just like Nargis was saying, they need very aligned with their husband. Because if they are not aligned with the husband, if their goals are separate, then they will not even know. Sometimes they don't even know. Like when I'm talking to with people, the husband, what are your retirement plans? Oh, husband says, I'm retiring in India. And wife is giving him an angry look. Who said that? I'm not going in anywhere. Right? So now the husband and wife are not on the same page. So if they are not on the same page, how can their goals be achievable? Because they don't even know. So it's very important for the husband and wife to be aligned together so that they have a common goals to achieve. And then they can work and understand the common factor in the finances, right? Making sure that you have understanding the wants against needs, making sure you are working towards your emergency funds if you're not already, right? Making sure that you understand, because see, at the end of the day, I don't want to say that, but history has proven that women live longer than men.
Yes.
So it is very important actually for the women to understand finances, even for herself. It's okay if the husband is managing the finances, nothing wrong with that. But is she going to be able to do a great job just like the husband was doing? Right? I do see sometimes many divorced women, when divorce happens, it doesn't happen just like that. All her married life, she was dependent on her husband. Now she is just suddenly divorced and now she is faced with the challenges. How to manage my finances? She is under lost and found situation. Right? So it has been very important if they have been aligned from the very beginning as a part of their daily habits, self-care, self-finance awareness, so that she can take care of in any situation. Or she will join hands with her husband into looking into their own goals together. Right? So that is very important, understanding the finances, making sure that they are having that spending habits between the two, husband and wife, and you are watching where you're spending.
Setting up a will, right?
Yeah,
Setting
yeah, yeah.
very
Yeah,
important. Oh, you muted.
yeah, sorry. Setting up the final expense also. Sometimes I do come across those kind of situations where they do not even have money for the final expense. And again, that is again a part of the GoFundMe, which I am really very much want people to avoid that. And that's why I want women, because women are the part here who are facing those challenges. Right. I had two incidents right away right now in WhatsApp. Some younger men passed away, and now women is in a situation where, and now the friend has done a GoFundMe for the wife. Now the wife is already devastated with one thing. Now she doesn't even know what to do, right? So why do we not be aware of the finances in the first stage? So all this, understanding your money, making sure you have emergency funds, making sure you are saving for your future, all of that is going to be a day-to-day habit. Will make sure that you will have your, better security of your life.
And I think the other thing you had said, Jyoti, was get yourself evaluated, right? Like with a
Yes, yes, yes.
so
If you know what your goal is in the future, but you do not know how to go about it, I definitely help or empower everyone that get yourself, just because see, at the end of the day, at the year in December or January, or maybe whenever your year begins, you are going to go to the doctor to get your annual checkup done. Did I get my diabetes, or am I not getting cholesterol, or what am I getting? So you get your annual health checkup done, right? So when the doctor does the report reading, he will say, okay, you know what, you have the diabetes, but rest of the things are good to go. Or maybe you have nothing, you are good to go, you're healthy. But if you have something, then doctor is going to prescribe some medication. Now it's up to you if you want to consume that medication, right? So at least get your health check done and see where you stand. And if it is aligning with your goals, or let someone help you align with your goals. And I can definitely do, and I offer a complimentary well check done for everyone. And women, like I said, I am big time into empowering every woman into financial literacy, period. No obligations at all. I want to educate as many women as I can.
Yeah, so just so it's clear for everyone, there's what Jyoti is saying is that she would be able to do a wealth check. So she's asking that we do a financial wellness check. So there's the health wellness check and the physical wellness check. And what she's suggesting is that we, just so everyone's really clear, Jyoti is not a doctor.
No, I'm not. I'm a financial doctor.
Financial doctor, exactly. There you
Yes,
go.
I'm a financial doctor, so I'll find the gap and filling the gap. If you want to take the medication, is all up to you. But at least you will be making informed decisions than reactive decisions.
Okay. So, and that brings us to the last, I want to say 6 minutes. I'm going to share the screen so you have, oops, I'm going to actually slideshow. I'm going to put the screen up so that you guys can see the contact information. Guys, ladies who want to take a screenshot, please go ahead and take a screenshot. And let's have some questions if anybody has any. Go ahead.
Yeah, hi, my name is Shweta and I am an emotional freedom life coach. I just wanted to add one point regarding confidence because I see we have spoken about confidence and confidence building for a bit. One thing what I want to say is curiosity feeds into knowledge, but we somehow misunderstand confidence because confidence comes by competency and competency comes by action. So we are curious for knowledge, but only when we use that knowledge and take an action, that's when our competence increases, and that will in turn build our confidence. And that's the one point I wanted to contribute. But I really like the quote that Nargis has behind her screen. That I just love that quote. Like all the women have another woman in their life. That was nice. But I appreciate this gathering. Yeah, that's it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for asking the question. I mean, for giving the feedback, and that's a nice way to connect those important points. Any other questions?
I do have a question, and this might be putting the cart before the horse. But first of all, amazing session, both of you, like all three of you. The questions were very relevant. The way you tackled all the answers and definitely has sparked a lot of curiosity. I've shared this with you before also. I'm one of those people who's always been very scared of finances. So that's why I'm saying that this might be putting like first sparking your curiosity is the most important thing, changing your whole mindset and then getting yourself aligned with your spouse. I have to do a lot of homework there. But are there, in your experience, wide experience, just dealing with a lot of people, for beginners like me, and I say beginner not because like 22 years of my life, there have been finance, which has been a huge part of my life, but for me, it has been a big elephant, which I have not wanted to address. But then for somebody like me who's wanting to like now take the interest, take it in my hands, what are some of the fallouts or mistakes that you generally see people making? Or it could also be misconception. I mean, we did discuss some of the misconceptions about finance generally, but then some of the other mistakes that people might get into. Do you have any of those?
Yeah, I could like to take that if that's okay.
Yeah, Nargis, go ahead.
Yeah. So generally there are two things. When you say finances, that could be, your home finances, basically, the salary coming in, you're living every day to day, not day to day, living a life kind of expenses, and then the saving potentials. So if you're trying to go and do a postmortem about it, it's possible that you may see a lot of holes in there. So one of the things what happens is when you see a hole, you immediately want to fill it, versus waiting a bit, going a little bit back, and then getting a bigger view about it. What happens is when you, at that point, you are emotional. You think, oh my God, what a mistake we did. We should have been at 2 million versus we don't even have worth of saving, right? So the biggest thing, that's the thing which comes out of it. So instead of reacting too fast, let your emotions settle. And then from behind, go a little bit back, get a bigger picture and see what is the best way that hole could be filled. Number one, which will tackle the current problem. Number two, which will last me for a longer time. And also how it will, what could be the, effects of it which will bring back. There could be more saving potential out of it. For example, the solution which you come up with, it may have a bigger saving potential. So my thing is, don't immediately react. Wait for some time, think about it, talk about it, see if other people have been in other similar situation and what they have come up with. The other thing is, like, you are trying to grow financially. Like maybe you want to do a side hustle of any kind. It could be a business or it could be investment of any kind. Number one, is don't jump into it. For example, when people come to me, they're very excited because they come with the stars in their eyes. They think, I'm going to be a millionaire tomorrow. I'm going to buy this stock and tomorrow I'll be a millionaire. That's the wrong mindset, right? We have given 14 years of education, then some experience, a starting job, then you have risen, right? So consistency is very important. But in the stock market, people think and say, oh, you know what? Tomorrow I'll be a millionaire. So likewise, for whatever goal you're achieving, it is not every day. So I tell people, Diwali happens only 1 year. You may get a very good trade maybe once a year, but every day is consistency. Try to make $100 a day. Start with $50. And then once you have perfected your formula, the formula includes your personality as the biggest chunk. Once you learn to get disciplined in doing that thing, then you scale it up. You start with building one factory and see how it runs, what are the learnings and all. Then you go build a second factory, third factory, and then you conquer the country and then you conquer the international market. You don't go starting all the 20, 30 factories all together, right? You don't do that. So always have a pilot and always be a little bit practical. And I tell my people, when they have very good trade, someone makes very good money, I push them out of the room and say, you cannot come back until tomorrow. Your adrenaline needs to shut down because you're going to give back the money back to the market. So making decisions in emotions is never a good idea. Always give time for your emotions to settle, look back from a practical perspective, work out 3-4 scenarios out of it and see what fits best for your current needs, and is there a possibility to scale it a little bit for a future need as well. I hope I answered
I
to what you were
Add a
asking.
little bit to that.
go ahead, Jyoti, and then I'll add a point to that.
Yeah. So another thing is just like Nargis was saying, right? You understand where you are making this common mistake or common thing that I observed is that when people come to me, they want to grow into their money and then they are trying to figure out how to go about it, right? And then so all of a sudden they are doing the same thing that their friends or colleagues have recommended. Buy this stock or buy this real estate or buy this, it's really great. I did this and you will definitely, right now the market is so good for the real estate. Go and buy this and whatever that is. So the other person is getting carried away with the same scenario, but it is not that probably he bought the stock or he bought the real estate or he did anything else with his mindset, with his goals in mind, with his priorities of his problems. That doesn't mean I want to do the same thing because it is not one size fits all. His solution may not be my solution, right? So that is one thing that definitely you need to wait on. What is, you want to make sure that what is good for you with your current problem, or what is your financial status right now, and how can you have from your current source to grow your money. He may have a different source of income or a different source of assets or different source of whatever that he could have afford to put in stocks or real estate or business or whatever that vehicle is. I may not have that, but just because he told me, I did even borrow some money and put it down there. Oh, let's go for it. Right? So these are the common mistakes that I do see. So identify your own needs, identify your own vehicles, identify your own goals, and then see if you can align together. That will make you achieve. That's when you will see the red car everywhere.
Yeah, exactly. And I think I think that know thyself Like, know yourself, know what your wants are, know where you are in life, what stage of life you're in, right? And
Your clarity is very important. What is your clarity of your team? So
exactly.
you want to solve your clarity problem, not borrowing someone else's problem solutions.
Exactly. And I want to add one more thing. Like, when Nargis was talking about emotions, I had one more example to give, which is from my own personal experience, where I started as a land flipper. My very first trade, my very first buy and sell, the buyer cheated me, basically. So I was cheated of, I would have made like $5,000-6,000 in profit. So my very, very, very first sale was actually, I was cheated out of it, and so it was a very discouraging, me, someone who has never done real estate and who's new in the industry and who is trying to get a foothold and trying to do the right things, and when someone cheated me out of it, it was quite discouraging. But the point is that that's not the end of the world. It's really a way for me now. When I look back, I'm like, okay, that was a there were many red flags there, and there were things that I should have done differently. I was new to it, and it's good to not be emotional, just like what Nargis was saying. Don't be emotional. Don't give up completely. Make sure you don't put all your eggs in one basket right at the beginning. Right? Don't go and expand fully. And most importantly, like don't take learnings from that, and don't let your emotions control you, because there will be times when people cheat you. People are going to cheat you. There are going to be situations. If you're living, you are going to get cheated, right? If you are dealing in finance, you are going to lose money at some point. Now, how much money, how we control that is that is a matter of how how much we discriminate in our trades and our dealings. But I think it's something that we also need to get comfortable with. Am I right? Like, that there will be some amount of loss no matter what. There is always risk involved. But we have to be educated, and we have to temper ourselves for that kind of risk.
Thank you so much. That was all very helpful. The emotional part, absolutely. You have no idea. If you ask my husband how many times I've ended up crying or start the conversation with crying. So this was really helpful. And to Jyoti too, I'm somebody who has been on the journey on my health and wellness, just to kind of share it. But then I know that the amount of work that I've done towards it for the last 10 minutes, very easy for people to look at the result and say, hey, that's great. But to your point, the amount my journey is my own, and for somebody else to just follow it blindly without understanding all the changes that you've made to your lifestyle to actually achieve the goal. That's exactly what I need to do. Thank you.
So people who are curious about the work I do, I posted my Twitter link, my pinned tweet. My pinned tweet has all my interviews. So basically, those interviews have, I work with charts and everything. So visually, I have shown how the market will do or behave and all those things. So those are very good learning opportunities. Basically a good start to look at it and see. Somebody asked NVIDIA, so that would be a very good things to start. And I've also posted my YouTube channel. So if you wanted to start learning or looking at things, that would be a good resource. And if that sparks your curiosity, then you could DM me. My Twitter link is there, and maybe Priya could help you connect. Or that WhatsApp channel is there. Completely forgot. You could ask me, me to connect there as well.
Yeah. So guys, again, we are here as part of Indian Women Professionals. I want to call out that, we are all here to help each other. This is a network where, we are trying to bring Indian women, empower Indian women, help each other become the best version of ourselves. So I hope this ignited your curiosity. I hope this, ignited your will to go out and do something different. The very fact that you spent, an hour and a half here speaks volumes. So thank you so much for being here. We are all on the channels. Please join us on Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram, WhatsApp channel. WhatsApp is probably the most active out of all of these, but please be a part of our network. Join, and we have a lot more such talks coming in. We'll probably have a part 2 to this one because there's so much more to explore in terms of finance when we get into the real aspects of finance. And there are a lot of other speaker talks coming up. We try to do one a month. And next month we have an interview with Chalana Bezawada from Apple, who is a very inspiring person. We will have more information about that on the channels as well. So hope to see you guys there. Thank you so much, and we'll call it off. Thank you so much. Thanks, everybody.
Have a great Sunday, everyone.
Have a great Sunday. Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Thank you for coming in here.